Welcome everyone this Saturday morning to the presentation by Andrea Koh. The presentation is called Enhance Your Sexual Relationship, and I'm really looking forward to it. Just some housekeeping rules to begin with. First of all, my name is Yen. I'm the assistant for the day, so if there's any problems, just let me know. We will be recording this session for those of us who can't make it and want to watch it later. The recordings were available for 30 days from when we put it up. The video will be pinned, so only the presenter will be recorded. I would encourage everyone, if you can, to turn on your video and be present for the presenter. It makes it nicer for Andrea to have some people to speak to rather than just a blank screen. Oh, hello. Thank you for doing that. You can keep your video on off. If you speak, the recording will only pick up your audio and not your name. So feel free to use a pen name if you want. You can type your questions in the chat box if you prefer. And you can also private message Andrea or myself if you want us to read out the questions for you. Please keep your audio on mute whenever you're not speaking. Otherwise, we might pick up some background noise. And you are encouraged to check out the Sugar and Spice Facebook group for the latest announcements and updates. There's a couple of guidelines on consent. Please do not contact other participants outside of the festival without their consent. So if you see someone you want to chat with, drop them a message here and get consent. We don't want instances of people feeling violated or unsafe. If you need any emotional support after this session, you can email us at emotionalsupport@sugarandspice.asia. And that's it for now. Today we're very privileged to have Andrea Koh with us. Andrea is a sexologist at the Vibrance Pelvic Care Center in Malaysia. She was trained in a Masters of Sexology from Curtin University in Australia. And her passion is helping individuals and couples with their sexual relationships and health. I'm really looking forward to the session today. And Andrea, I'm going to hand it over to you to take over. Welcome, Andrea.
Hi. So thank you. Thank you for everyone who's joining my session today. So as he said, I'm Andrea, sexologist from Vibrance Pelvic Care Center. And today I will talk about how to enhance your sexual relationship. So I was told that some participants might have some disability, so they might not be able to see me. So I will just a bit on how I look like. So I'm Asian, brown skin, black hair until my shoulder, got a bit of fringe in the front, red lipstick, wearing spectacles, and I'm wearing a white top with Let's move on to the next one. As already it is recorded, so if you touch it, but you can always show your face if you would like to. It would be nice to see some of the faces. As your video won't be recorded. So if you have any question, you can drop on the chat box or just voice it out. If I do miss some of your question, do not worry because I will have a Q&A session at the end. So I will address it later on as well. And I do encourage interaction and discussion, especially during the activities time. Okay. And if you private message me, I won't share your name, but I will share your question for the benefit of others too. Okay, so let's start with the icebreaker. So I would like you to think of or hear what comes to your mind when you see the word or hear the word sex, sex. So this is a time to express yourself. So you can use the option called annotate. So at the top of your screen, there's an arrow that you can click and it will show a function called annotate. So using annotate, they will show you a toolbar. At the toolbar, you can use text, you can use drawings, ways you want to express on how you think about sex or what you think about sex. So I will just give you a few minutes, give everyone a few minutes to try to express themselves. And there's no right or wrong. You can if there's any same answer also, it's okay. So you can, and if you need my help, if you struggle with it, just type it in the chat box or shout it out and I can type it for you as well. Okay, so I'll just give everyone some time to do it. Okay, so if everyone done, you can just put like maybe a reaction like thumbs up or something. I know if it's done already, then I can read out everything that's written here. Okay, so everyone done? Okay, so if everyone done, then I will just read out what is written on the screen here. So I see there's consent, intercourse, orgasm, reassure, intimacy, trust. There's also like D and some arrow. Uh, I'm not sure what is that. Maybe someone can explain if you know what is that mean. Then there's like parking, some love, and some stars. Okay, is there anything else I missed? Nothing, right? Okay. So thank you for sharing and thank you for participating in this icebreaker. So basically, what is this activity for? So this activity is useful to show that everyone view or define sex differently. So we need to respect that. And this is an open platform so to learn. So don't be shy if you have any question, just ask it when needed. Okay. So let me clear the screen first. Mhm. Okay. Okay, we can move on to the next slide. Okay. So how do we define sex actually? So according to dictionary, any sexual activity is considered sex as long as you feel sexual about it. So that means anything that you are doing, if you think it's sexual, then it is a sex. So it doesn't have to be like sexual intercourse, orgasm, that kind of thing only. And sex in general, sex usually happen in some form of relationship, like casual, committed, BDSM, whatever relationship that you think is happening, like marriage also. So this is where usually sex happen. And it is an activity that is used to increase relationship or sexual intimacy with each other. It also includes usually it includes oral sex as well, or anything that is deemed sexual, like the definition as just now. So it's helped in stimulating and increase our arousal. A lot of people in especially like in Asian context, in Asian culture, still link sex with sexual intercourse, or they think that sex must end with sexual intercourse, which some of us might agree it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to end with intercourse. It ends when you feel satisfied, or it ends when it needs to end. Like, it doesn't have to end it with intercourse. And the other thing that usually a lot of people assume is sex also need to end with orgasm, which is also not true because having this mindset actually may create stress among individual, which may lead you to frustration. And then so it's okay if you don't feel like orgasm during that session, or if you're unable to orgasm, it's fine as long as you all enjoy it. That's more important, as long as you enjoy the session during with your partners. Okay, so why do we want to know more about this? Why do you need this? So in general, we like to avoid negative feelings, right? We don't really like to have all these negative feelings around us. So some of us may join this talk to learn more on how to avoid sexual dissatisfaction. It could be in the future relationship, or to have better sexual satisfaction in your current relationship. But how do we define sexual satisfaction? So there are researchers that suggested that sexual satisfaction should be viewed in two ways. So the first way is personal sexual well-being. This is where individual sexual experience of pleasure is more than just orgasm. It includes your positive, negative, positive feeling during desiring one's partner, feeling aroused and excited with each other, and the mutuality of this experience for the individual involved. And the second way is to view the sexual process. So factors like expression of feelings, your relationship development, your romance, the creativity, whether it's a novelty or a surprise activity that you guys do together. So all of this actually consider as a sexual process. So these two ways is how usually people view whether you have sexual satisfaction in your relationship. Okay, so some of the sexual dissatisfaction that one might experience is low sexual drive. Often because of the change of hormone, maybe your lifestyle, or maybe the person prefer other type of intimacy instead of sex. And second is lack of sexual sensation. So this may happen because maybe we have lack of understanding or lack of communication with each other, or we have lack of connection with our body. So we might not be able to have the sensation that we want. Or our body may change, like due to pregnancy, menopause, or medical reason, or other causes. Okay, so this could be some of the factors that create lack of sexual sensation. Third one is lack of body awareness. So it is important to understand how our body works, which part of our body is sensitive to touch, how to arouse our body, and so on. Besides that, when our body change, we will feel we might not be satisfied with it or we're not happy about it. So we won't feel confident to be naked or to be intimate with our partner. Hence, it is important to explore our body, to learn our body, how it works during that time, to create more awareness, and so that you can communicate with your partner how you want to be touched. And next will be routine sex. So this usually happen in long-term relationship. Yeah, I usually heard this from clients and from friends. Like they tend to stuck in a routine sex activity because of maybe familiarity already, or like they're too busy. So we tend to do activity that is fast and easy, which is not bad, but it may lose the spark after some time. This is where we crave for something more, which make us feel dissatisfying in our sex life. And then the last one is sexless marriage. So this is another common thing that I heard from Asian friends. They say like they say that as you get older, you will have less sex, or you might not have sex anymore in your relationship, especially after menopause. Well, that does not have to happen. You can have sex as long as you want, no matter how old you are. But you may need to change the activity that you did when you are younger, but you don't have to stop it if you still have the need and desire to have sex. Just communicate with your partner on how to satisfy each other during that time. So why do we have sexual dissatisfaction? Because it could happen from the way we were brought up in a society view sex negatively, or like it's a sex taboo society. Like in Malaysia, it's quite taboo to talk about sex. So these are some of the popular myths that I found from some of the resources. Compiled to a list that is more common in Asian culture, especially in Malaysia here, that I can hear in here. So there's around 8 lists, but I won't go into details for now. But if we have extra time later during the Q&A, we can revisit it if you have more questions about it. I just read through the 8 myths. So the first one is sex will happen naturally. Second is masturbation is harmful. Third, orgasm is important. Fourth, pornography portrayed real sex. Fifth, sex is painful. Six, bigger penis is better. Seven, tight vagina is better. Eight, confusion. For me, I personally hear all of this before, like few times already, and I really need to educate people on how this myth is not correct. So before I move on to the next slide, I would like to hear actually from the floor, from everyone else. Anyone would like to share like which myth resonate with them, with you more, or like you heard often, and how does it make you feel actually when you have this myth like around you? Does anyone want to share? You can you can just voice it out, or you can type it in the chat. whichever way you want to share it. So I'll just let you guys think for a while I share one of my experience. So for me, I will share one of my experience in Malaysia. I noticed that there's a great emphasis in social media, in advertisement, in companies on product to tighten the vagina because they said it makes it better. But in reality, it may actually be uncomfortable for the person because it may be too painful for them when they have a tight vagina. So for example, one of the condition that I would like to talk about is like vaginismus, whereby people with vagina having difficulty to have penetration because the vagina muscle tense up, which make it painful for them when penetration is forced. So it actually cause tension for couples and their relationship. So it doesn't actually make it better. It doesn't make sex better actually for those people. And people who experience vaginismus tend to have few of this myth embedded into them. Like everything maybe they will think that sex is painful. So which make them feel more anxious and scared of penetration. So for me, I feel very sad to see clients like this having such difficulty to enjoy sex because of the influence of our sex, of the sex myth, of how we are brought up in a sex taboo culture. When we know that sex is actually enjoyable things to do with your partner, and for them not be able to do that is such a sad thing. So I see that there's some chat. Let me check whether there's anything. Okay, so someone mentioned that um, okay, so someone mentioned that I thought these are the normal things to have in sex, and I think I'm not normal. So yeah, so that's what usually happen. Like when they have this kind of, when you hear this kind of me from your friend, maybe from some other people you have connection with, then they say that oh, sex will happen naturally. You will be able to do it. Then when it doesn't happen to you, you feel like I'm weird. I'm abnormal or something is wrong with my body. Like you will have this negative thought about yourself. And okay, another person said that bigger penis is better is still a common myth among guys, and this affects the sexual experience because they only focus on that. Yeah, that's another reason also when there's myth like this, especially for guys, because for people who have penis, they don't really see each other penis, right? So they won't know that what is they won't judge each other side. But for them, when they hear that other people say like, oh, bigger penis is actually better, they have the perception that their penis is more. And every time that we ask their partner, they might be a bit they will have low self-esteem. They will check in with their partner to is my penis big for you, or is my penis too small, or those kind of thing, or like how, like they will have all this mindset, so end up it lower their self-esteem as well, which could be one of the reason why they have erectile dysfunction as well. But that is like another story for that. So thank you for sharing. So thank you for all the sharing, and it's nice to hear that that you guys also actually experience this kind of me, especially in Malaysian culture. So that is why it is important to keep in mind that educating ourselves more on sexual health and relationship will help us debunk this myth and enjoy sex better, especially joining this kind of talk. So, okay. So now, finally, the fun part: how to enhance my sexual relationship. On three main tips for today, and hopefully it will be useful for you to apply in your relationship. Before I move on, is everyone okay? Am I going too fast? Everything okay? If okay, then I can move on. Good, huh? Okay, thank you, Fiona. Okay, so I'll move on. So the first tips for today is talk about sex, which is basically what we are doing, guys, right? Like we join all this talk to learn about, to talk more about sex. So I will explain each point in the next slide. So find a days to discuss about sex. So people usually think that sex happen naturally, like in the myth there, but not every time, not always it will happen naturally. It can actually be learned. It's like how we learn things to improve our skills in our daily life. It's the same thing goes to sex activity as well. You can learn sex to improve your sexual relationship. So it's important to discuss about sex with your partner because we want to meet each other's need and vice versa. And why? Because different partner has different needs. So discussion will help you understand what your partner like, dislike, and what you can try together and so on. So next is talking about sex is also important, especially after sex. Like I heard a lot of couple tends to tell me that they just go to sleep or something else after sex, especially when the sex was not as good as they expected. So it's important to actually talk about it right after sex, as it will allow you to explain better what you like or dislike during that session and how you can improve it in the next session. If you don't talk about it, your partner will know. They will know how you feel about that session. They think that you might enjoy it, or maybe they assume that you don't. Okay, they might have this internal thought that you actually don't enjoy what they did. So it's easier to actually discuss on the spot rather than you wait till next session, or maybe you wait like after dinner, maybe I'll talk about it or something like that. You won't remember what you did, or like your partner won't remember what did he or she did to you. So it's better to just talk right after it. And the other thing is important is after sex care. So actually, after sex care is quite important in BDSM culture, but I feel that it's also useful for non-BDSM as well, because it's important to think about after sex care as something like sex can be intense sometimes. So if sex can be too intense, that you need to make sure your partner is actually okay. Like what you can do after sex is maybe like cuddling, shower together, or maybe just sit down, watch Netflix for a while, or movie together, talk to each other first. This is important to ground each other back to reality. So to show that you are there for each other even after sex. Okay, so this is why after sex care is actually important. And another way you can start a sex conversation is watching or learning more about sex together. So, joining talks like this as a couple encourage you to learn more about each other's sexual needs, learn new skills that you would love to try, or maybe you would like to try in the future. And it's also to make sex talk less awkward in the future as well. And you can also maybe read or watch explicit story or movie together. Like maybe some people like to watch porn, which is okay to help increase your knowledge about sexual activity. Porn and any other fiction story movie are not really real. They are just acting or imagination, which can help stimulate your own imagination and creativity for you to try new type of sex position, or maybe kinky sex, or it can be just a tool to help stimulate your thoughts and arouse each other before doing the real act. So second tips will be how to make sex more fun. So we will go into it one by one. So flirting and exploring your five senses. So these are the important things that people usually forget. So remember the definition of sex just now is any sexual activity that is considered sex as long as you feel sexual about it. So can anyone tell me what is our five senses? What is our five body senses? Can shout it out or type it in the chat box. Okay, okay, so no one know the answer for the five senses. Okay, good. So we have touch, smell, taste, see, hear. Good. Thank you for thank you for responding. So yes, we have sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. So all of our senses is useful to stimulate or arouse our sexual need. So you don't have to start sex by straight going into the bedroom. You can always start with just flirting around while watching TV, maybe cooking or eating together. So or your normal daily routine, you can incorporate inside with all these five senses. So I will go more details into some example on each of the five senses. So like for sight, it's like looking at something arousing, sexy, or maybe the lighting in the room. You like to dim the room, you like it brighter, or you can do both things. You don't even want to have your sight. So all these things is some example that you can try for to stimulate the sight. Next is hearing. So for hearing, it could be something like having the thought or whispering in the ear, some sexy thought, some sexy idea, imagination, or even having some nice music background in the room to increase the mood. Smell will be like something like wearing perfume or making the room smell nice. So it's like aroma candle, or anything that you feel like can create the mood in the room. Body smell also can help. Like some people actually like after gym smell like sweat smell. So it's fine as well. It's whatever you like. It's your preference. And next is taste. So taste is like tasting your partner's body. Like, do you know before and after shower there's different body taste? So you can actually try that with your partner. Maybe you can play a bit with with food, like ice cream, whipped cream, putting on the body, and then try to lick it from each other's body parts. So that is some example that I can think of for now. And last is touch. So touch usually is common, whereby you touch with hands, feet, you can touch with tongue, or you can use item like ice, feather, anything like maybe candle wax as well. So anything that you feel like to stimulate the touch part. So basically all of this is just an example for you to stimulate your senses more. And then it's something that we might think that it takes a lot of time to do, but actually it doesn't if you incorporate it in your normal routine. Like just once a while do a little bit different in your normal routine, then it's already good to enhance the stimulation that we have in our body. And by adding all of this to your daily routine, it will make your partner more interested to be physical with you later in the bedroom. Or you can also try sex not in the bedroom if you are staying alone, like around your house. So like second one, we'll be talking about practice touching. So this is my focus will be more on touching yourself and your partner. I will start by explaining about self-body exploration first. So self-body exploration is helpful because it helps you to be more aware about your body and actually teach you to identify your sensitivity, how you like to be touched, your arousal spot, or like the pressure, the speed, all these things. It can help you if you actually explore yourself. Some people might not be comfortable with the word masturbation, so that's why I use the term self-exploration or body exploration. By doing this, you will be able to communicate with your partner on how you like your body to be touched. Okay, so easier for you to tell your partner because not everyone knows how you like to be touched. Everyone is different. And next, you can try touching your partner. So it's the same thing like touching yourself, but this time you are touching your partner because actually some of our partner might not be comfortable with you touching their body as well. They might feel certain area. So by doing this exercise, you can learn to explore each other body part as well. Where is their sensitive area, their arousing area, and maybe touch area that you seldom touch and see how it goes. Who knows, you may actually find some arousing spot that you never knew. For example, you can touch by massaging each other using massage oil, or just lying together nakedly and start exploring each other body. Okay, third is try different position. So when it comes to sex, we tend to do in a bedroom, right? Like especially if you are not allowed other place to do it except the bedroom. But if you do have the chance to be alone, if you are staying alone, you can try sex in different places like living room, on the couch, on the table, in the bathroom. Just make sure the area is safe before you do it for your own safety. So it helps to move out of the usual sex routine, and you might enjoy it not because like maybe you don't like the feeling of your couch or you don't like the feeling of the hard table, but it's fine. At least you experience and you can actually say that, oh, I don't like this, next try another things next time. So it's something that is good for discussion for future sex, what else you can try. However, if you still prefer to be in the bedroom, that's fine as well. Maybe just try different position instead of just missionary. Missionary is like you just lying down while your partner is sort of like on top you. So you can Google some of the position to try. Even in porn also you can get some ideas, or like some of the movies you can get some ideas on certain position. Like the common one that I can think of now is like doggy style, cowgirl, which is one person on top the other person, or sideways position. There are even books like I actually found like this. I Google out, there's actually some books that talk about different type of sex position that you can try. So it's interesting to look around what other things you can try with your partners. So I'm just going to share one of my clients and some of my clients' experience. They tend to tell me that they stick to one sex activity when they have a partner. have sex, so example, they have penetrative sex. So they tend to ignore the importance of touching their partner or arousing them while penetrating. It's important to know that not everyone can maintain arousal by just penetration. Some may need extra stimulation, like playing with the breast, nipple, clit, kissing at the neck, at the everywhere else, or like maybe sound like moaning sound also. So like other type of stimulation also is needed to maintain the enhance the arousal feeling. So it's good to try different position with different stimulation as well to prevent the same routine sex. And another things to avoid sex being boring, you can also try getting some sex toy. So there are many types of sex toy. They are small or big, vibrator or don't have vibrator, maybe some kinky tools that you can try. So especially when you talk more about sex with your partner, you will know what you would willing to try to enhance your sex life. So that's why the first tip just now, talking about sex, is actually important. That is where you can actually talk what kind of things you guys want to try. And how to know if which sex toy is suitable for you. So you can try with something maybe small and simple before trying something big. And it's also useful to read or watch people review about it and get an idea how it is. So I would personally recommend silicone matte materials as it is soft for the skin and it's also waterproof. But you can always try other materials like glass, steel, leather, or as it gives different kind of feelings and sensation as well. Like Dr. Mata actually going to talk about it more in this festival during I think it's on the 24th November. She talk more about sex toy as well. So you can join her session to know more about sex. So the last tip for today is making time for sex. So I heard a lot of couple telling me that they are too busy, too tired, or they don't have time for sex, or maybe they don't feel like doing sex because they feel sex is like a chore. So all this thought and feeling will actually influence our mood to not have sex. So that is why I will advise couple to change your sex routine. Like I know some couple maybe fix every Saturday is sex night. Okay, so but it doesn't feel spontaneous because they feel like every week I need to have sex with this person. So instead of doing that, try to like plan a date night. So plan a special date to have sex, or maybe do something first before thinking about sex. Just go on a nice dinner, watch movie first, cuddle first, do other things first that can create intimacy first before moving on to sex. And you don't have to have sex every week because quality is better than quantity. You can have sex may not be as nice as couple who maybe only have sex fortnightly. So you can have sex when you want to have sex. So don't treat it as a chore. To make it better, apply the previous I mentioned, like flirting, using the five senses in your daily routine. So it doesn't feel like, oh, you need to wait for certain days to have sex. It can happen anytime if you create intimacy in your daily routine. So for my final tips before I end my session is sex doesn't have to always end with penetration or orgasm. The most important part is to enjoy the intimacy, the sexual feeling, the closeness with your partner. When you are naked, being able to do that and feeling happy, comfortable can actually enhance your sex life. So having penetration sex and orgasm is actually like become like a bonus to your sex life. If you are able to enjoy the whole process of being together, you won't feel like sex is a chore or is something to just satisfy your partner, but it will be an activity that everyone enjoy to create closeness and intimacy. And who knows, you will also be able to be more relaxed and more aroused, that when you actually do have penetration sex, it will actually be nicer, it will be more better for your experience, and maybe orgasm also will actually feel better as well in the future. So I hope you enjoyed this talk and learn something new from it. If you or anyone you know have sexual issues in their sexual life, you can contact me at Vibrance Pelvic Care Center as we provide online consultation, in-person consultation and therapy for anyone who need help and we to improve your sexual life. So that's all from me. I will open the floor for Q&A. You can just ask me here or text me privately or just send me a message and I will see how we can help. Okay, that's all for me. I will look at the chat box to see if there's anything. I got 1 more hour. Okay. So basically, is there anything, any question first? Does anyone have any question?
Hi, Andrea. Um, at the beginning of your slides, point 1 and 2, I wanted to ask you, but I forgot. If you
You
can
can
go
ask
back,
now.
yeah, if you can go back to your slides. I forgot what I wanted to ask.
So the tips
Yeah.
one, is it?
Sorry?
Let me see. Is it this one?
No, the earlier one.
Earlier one.
The myths about sex, probably.
Is it the myth one? This one?
Well, this one I put on a comment saying that people like to make orgasm as like the end goal. Like if you don't have an orgasm means you're not enjoying it.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, there is a myth that about that the orgasm is important. So that is why people actually feel like low self-esteem or distressed or frustrated when they actually can't achieve it, and then they feel like they are not working properly or their body don't work properly. Yeah, it's common actually a lot, especially for women. That's why we tend to hear like women fake orgasm as well as
Yeah,
actually
because it's always the question like do you come yet? Do you come yet? Do you come yet? I'm like
yeah, it's actually
like
more, it
why?
makes more stress, give you more pressure that I need to come. Is it like I need to come faster? Is it like those kind of thing? Yeah, it's common to have that. That's why it's like for me, is I feel like it's a part of a sex myth because like it's actually it gives stress to people. It gives a person who can't orgasm, we have low self-esteem after that when they keep on having this similar kind of experience with different partners as well. Yeah. So what are others? So maybe this one. Let me go through another one. Is it this one? I got a lot of points, so I'm not sure which one is the one you wanted to ask.
It's okay, never mind.
Okay, so how about anyone else?
There's a question in the chat box for you, Andrea.
Let me see. Okay. So so there's a question on can pelvic floor relaxation exercise help in penetrative sex? Yeah. So this one yes, it does relate to a bit on like how we usually treat vaginismus as well. Is also based on pelvic floor relaxation exercise. As I mentioned, like the muscle might be too tight or like involuntary tighten up. So pelvic floor relaxation actually could help you to relax the muscle as well. And but if you might need some kind of or massage that can directly give that relaxation because pelvic floor is inside, so we might not know if we do it correctly. You might, if you do it wrongly, you might actually tighten it more. So it's actually better to find help from professionals on how to actually relax your muscle better, in a correct way actually. So in our center, we do have physiotherapists that actually help that in to provide a correct method to relax your muscle, to give you the exercise, the massage that is needed. Okay, so there's other one. So is there any way to help with pain during penetrative sex? Okay, so it's similar to what I mentioned just now on information on what is asked just now about pelvic floor relaxation. So that could be one of the techniques to help reduce the pain. And the other thing is arousal. If you actually enjoy sex, you feel more real. If you actually enjoy sex, you actually feel more relaxed. So when you are more relaxed, your muscle will be less tense, because one thing why we have pain is your muscle is tense up. So when your muscle is stressed and tense up and you do anything around that muscle, it will be painful for you. So it's good to actually be more relaxed and do some relaxation technique, pelvic floor relaxation, massage in that area first, in your vagina area, to help like loosen up the muscle before you actually have sex. Okay, so warm up a bit first. So like do foreplay or some oral sex oral sex. There's many techniques actually to help with that. Okay, so what is our partner are not for after sex care? So this one is it's important to communicate. So try to communicate with your partner. Maybe just do one activity first during that time. Maybe like after sex you can have shower together. Just try with that first before encouraging other things. Maybe shower will be okay with your partner because it's feel like, oh yeah, it's something I'm too sweaty, so yeah, it's something I can do first together. So try to do that first, starting from small step before going to big step. Partner is not used to having after sex care, we can just start with small step first. I think that's one way we can do it. Okay, let me see. So I have some private message. Let me see what they write. Okay, so there are someone who said that I agree that sex doesn't necessarily end with penetration, but how if that's the only way he will enjoy it? Okay, so this is where I know in Asian community in Malaysia, it tends to have have the mindset that the only way to enjoy sex is through penetration. So sometimes for us, women who's receiving it, we feel that we want to do other things. We wouldn't just want penetration sex. So if you communicate with our partner properly, teach them. So that's way when if you can actually bring in your partner to help joining talks like this, educate them together. So at least that they hear from other people's view. Because sometimes they don't listen to us. Like you go and talk to them, they might not listen. So sometimes bring them to join this kind of talks. Then they will listen. They might actually understand better why penetrative sex might not be the only way to enjoy sex. Maybe my partner like other kind. Maybe you can explain things you like besides penetrative sex. So and he can find out other way that he can enjoy it as well. Because maybe all this while he see from porn or what people say like, oh, the only way you can enjoy sex is penetrative. So he also might need to a bit more education to know that actually you can enjoy sex from oral sex. Like oral sex enjoyment, like doesn't just have to end with penetrative sex. And I have another one is to how to practice touching with our partner, like touching only or massage. Okay, so to practice touching, you can do anywhere you like. You can just do touching only, you can massage only, or you can do both at the same time. So while you massaging, you can also touch like few of the area that you know is arousing for your partner. So you can also touch that few area. So it can be how you want the flow to be. If you just want to focus on touching each other, then you just make sure you can communicate with each other. You just want to touch each other. You want to learn each other body part, nothing else. No penetration sex. No making each other orgasm. Like you need to communicate actually. A lot of it is to communicate about it. Okay, so another client asked, can vagina dilator help? So I think this is related to the just now for tight vagina. So yes, vagina dilator actually does help. But it also it helps in stretching. It helps your muscle in stretching, being familiar with the feeling of insertion, familiar with different sizes. Because like vagina dilator actually have different size. Like they go from size 1 to size 5. So you start from size 1 smaller to bigger. So same like using one finger to two finger. So it does help. Make sure you use lubricant and start slowly. Yourself with it. Start slowly massaging the area first, massaging your vulva area first, and then put lubricant, and then only try slowly insert it. And like I say, if you feel your muscle is tight, cause much because and now it cause pain for you. So try when you feel like your muscle is less tense, then only you try to force. Then only you try to do insertion with the dilator. But start with size 1. Start with the smaller size before going up to a bigger size. And I also have another question is, so I understand, so I will read from Fiona. So I understand about sex talk, about knowing what we like or don't like, but I believe it is more appropriate when we get to know each other, not the not the first question you ask when you have a match on that dating app. Yes, correct. So usually it's more easy to communicate these kind of things when after you know each other better. If you ask on the first few days, sometimes it's a bit too straightforward for the person as well, and they might think that they might also think that we are too focused on sex only, on doing things with them physically. So yeah, after you know the person better, like before, then only you talk more about this. Actually, it's more suitable if you already have a regular partner or like a partner that you usually see more often. Then you can start talking about this to enhance each other sex life as well, if you like to stay together. So, okay, another client we say, so how to have successful penetration every time. Okay, so how to have successful penetration every time. So, like I said, it will be depend on it will. So it will based on the muscle. So if your muscle is quite relaxed and you actually manage to do penetrative sex on the first time, the next time when you try it, it will be a bit more easier. So it may take time for you to actually be fully successful to have penetrative sex. But how to say, practice make perfect. So you try slowly from small size to bigger size. And then if you manage to have successful penetrative sex on the first time, remember what did you guys did during that time. That's why after sex talk is actually important. So after sex you talk about it with your partner. Ask what did your partner do that you managed to be relaxed, or you managed to he managed to insert without you feeling pain. So like those kind of thing you can actually communicate first before. So at least you try to remember, oh, okay, last time we did this. So that's how we managed to be successful. Maybe you can try the next session, try to do similar thing and see whether it helps you to be more relaxed after that. Then usually after that it will be a bit more better. You will be able to have penetrative sex easily. Okay, so I have another private question. If someone feel obligate or duty to have sex, are they really consenting? And how to enjoy it when they don't want it as frequently as their partner? Okay, so this one usually I do heard about this like in marriage couple, or like couples like boyfriend girlfriend, those who's dating together. Usually they will say that, oh, because I'm your partner already, you need to provide me sex, or you need to have sex with me. So technically they feel they do have this, like what this person say, duty to have sex, even though they might not be consenting to it. They feel like it's my duty because I'm the person's wife or partner or husband or whatever, so I feel like I need to do it. That's where communication is important. Like I know it will be hard to communicate with your partner, especially if our partner is the type that like still very close-minded, traditional-minded, and doesn't really talk about sex much with you. It's a bit hard to talk about this, but slowly talking about it will actually inviting him to slowly talk about it. Hopefully it will help you explain to him that you might not want to have 3 times a week sex. You might only maybe want 2 times a week sex, or you might actually want different type of sex. So I know it's not easy to actually talk about it with your partner, but who know, it might actually help. And also try to like this, like bring him to attend talks like this, and maybe it might be helpful for him to learn like there is other way that you can enjoy sex, and maybe doesn't have to be full on sex until penetrative. It could be just like oral sex, foreplay, or just making each other enjoy orgasm, like things like that. Doesn't have to just be penetrative. So all these things we can. So that's why the first tip is always important. Talk to your partner, communicate with your partner. I know it's not easy, but hopefully we slowly invite them to talk about it. If it's hard, you can always bring them to talk to professional. Like as a couple, you can meet a professionals like sex therapy or sexologists or couple counseling to help you talk about it openly in front of a third party. So at least they can listen that how important it is to communicate about your sexual with each other. Okay, let's see what other thing we have. So yeah, Dr. Mata also teach client about vaginismus. So it is important, yes, like what Dr. Mata, it's important to not do it without arousal, because yeah, we don't want to shove a dilator in like that. Um, so okay, another person asked, is sex toy can be used as dilator too? So yes, There are clients who use like dildo as dilator, but I usually recommend to use smaller size first. Like try smaller size, don't straight away buy a big dildo or vibrator or something, or the smaller size that you can use to practice it. And then one thing about sex toy, because if you buy those with vibration, it might actually help you increase your arousal as well. So when you are more aroused, like what Dr. Mata said, when you are more aroused, your muscle will also be more relaxed. So then it will help with when you do the insertion as well. So don't just shove it inside. So don't just straight away put it inside. Even though if you're not ready yet, if your muscle is not ready, as you on self also is not ready. Okay, there's another question. Okay, so is it normal that the penis is a bit slanted? Okay. So penis, same like vagina, we have vulva as well. It's all different. Like not everyone have similar type of penis, similar type of vagina and vulva. Everyone have different look, different length, different color, different sizes. So I would say it's normal, but it is okay it's okay that it's different than what you usually see in media or in images. So it's actually okay to have a bit slanted, as long that it's not as long that person himself doesn't feel like it's painful, or like he feel that it's something that he feel physically there might be a medical reason for it, and you might need to check with a doctor. Okay, so like Dr. Mata also share some other information. So linked to duty sex usually is linked to self-shame. Without understanding, it also opens sexual drive and being willing to try and see if body will respond. So yes, and okay, so okay, I will read the other one from Yante is yeah. So thank you everyone. Okay, so I got another private message. So how to improve my mood to do sexual activity, because I always end up have pain. So based on you can increase your arousal by doing, so this is where the five senses is quite important as well. Flirting is quite important as well to increase your mood, to have sexual activity with your partner. And because if like what we mentioned, if you are actually aroused, you are more relaxed, and you might have less pain or during sex. So to improve it, you might need to play with the five senses, play with your partner for play sex first. So a lot of before sex, before intercourse, or before intercourse activity need to be done first to create the mood first, create the arousal feeling, the enjoyment feeling first. Then only you concentrate on the penetrative sex. What about sex during woman period? Okay, so sex during period is actually fine as well. It's just whether you are comfortable with it. Like we do have what they call, I think, something sex. So it's fine to have sex during woman's period, as long as you think that you are comfortable. Prepare more towels, or you can do it in the bathroom when you have sex during period, to avoid too much mess on your bed. So yeah, it's fine. It's whether you are okay with it or not. So do I have anything else? Okay. So is there anyone else that would like to share, or any other questions? I think I have covered everyone. Did I miss anyone? I think I covered everyone in the chat as well. Yeah. Okay. So is there any slide that you want me to go back again, or everything is okay? Is everyone okay with everything? So if everyone okay, I'm not sure. Mata, do we want to end the session early, since if
Andrea,
there's no more?
I think this has been an absolutely fantastic session. Let's just drag it on a little bit. I think sometimes people are a bit shy I'm extremely encouraged by the response. Everyone has been asking questions. It obviously speaks a lot to the fact that you're covering a very important topic and something that people maybe don't have access to. And obviously, by the way you're answering the questions, everyone's very happy and feels safe to ask you questions. So maybe let's just be patient and see if somebody else wants to ask questions.
Okay, sure. So I'll just let everyone, if you have any more questions, you can just you and I can answer it for you.
So Nupatidi says in the chat that now I know there's a lot of other sexual activity other than penetrative sex. So which is good because a lot of people usually think that sex is just like usually in Malaysia I usually hear that people say sex means to them sex is equal penetrative sex. So to them oral sex foreplay is not sex. So that's where we need to sort of educate them that no, sex is anything that you feel sexual about it, anything that you think is arouse you is sex. Like it doesn't have to be just penetrative sex. Like you can do many things with your partner. It doesn't have. That's why a lot of couple in Asian in Malaysia also that we feel like sex can be boring because they only think sex is just penetrative sex. Then they don't do other part of the sex. They don't do oral sex. They don't do foreplay. They don't do other things that they might actually enjoy. So that's why it's important to teach people to educate them that
So I will be the first to concede that I feel that it's always ends up in penetrative sex in my household. And on the one hand, this talk is very mind blowing for me because I start to consider that other things are possible. But on the other hand, it's also my wife that feels this way. That she also feels it's not done until I'm done. You know, maybe you can share some of the ideas for what could also be enjoyable without penetrative sex. So I know, for example, oral sex, all of this is nice to have, but I cannot conceive of it as anything other than foreplay. So how to stop with just that and nothing else? Maybe you can share some ideas, please.
Okay, so like yeah, so like what you say, like sometimes even though we don't want to, we think that penetrative sex is not the only sex, but our partner might think that. So we can't. So we need to. So we end up feel like we are not satisfying your partner because he or she need to have until penetrative sex. So other things. So like oral sex. And foreplay. Sometimes you can use sex toys as well. So you can also use sex toys. So you can use sex toy to stimulate each other. Like sometimes maybe their goal is they want to get orgasm. So it doesn't have to end with. So you can have orgasm in other ways, using sex toys, or you can also have during oral sex you can actually make the person orgasm, or if the person wants to orgasm. So it doesn't have to just be with penetrative sex as well. um, yeah, I don't really have much thing to say about that. But yeah, usually if by doing other kind of sex with sex toy, I only can think of sex toy for now. Like I usually feel like instead of doing penetrative sex, you can play with sex toy like vibrator, and any other thing that help make her more enjoy sex. Mm. So like for me, like sometimes I don't mind if it doesn't end with penetrative sex, as long as I enjoy it and I like to orgasm. So I as long as I end with orgasm, also I'm happy already, even though there's no penetrative sex. So that's on my side, my own opinion on how I like it to be done. Let's see this other question. Okay, so is there any form of exercise that can help to improve penetration? So basically, other type of exercise will be more like meditation, relaxation, breathe on relaxation breathing technique, and basically massage in the vulva area or the inside the vagina area. You can massage it. So that's also one way to help relax the muscle as well. Like you can massage the area that you feel tense up, then it can actually help relax. When your muscle is more relaxed, less tense, and it can improve the penetration as well. And another question is it normal to feel traumatized to resume sex? What is the best time to resume it? Okay, so traumatized after birth. So it's more like it depends on your how was the delivery. So how was the delivery during birth, and when is the best time to resume it is based on your you will need to check with your doctor when is your body fully healed. So when your body is fully healed, that is the best time. That is the correct time to actually try to have sex again. Because if your body is not fully healed, you will have a lot of pain when trying to have sex, especially if you're doing penetrative sex. But if you just doing the if you're not doing penetrative sex, like just trying to orgasm, or maybe just using sex toy on the outside on the clit or whatever, then it's it's okay to do it a bit early when you feel like you want to have sex. But if you want to do penetrative sex, it's better to see what kind of delivery method that you do and whether you are fully healed during that time before you actually think of doing any penetrative sex after childbirth. And one way to help reduce any pain that you might feel is doing the exercise, the relaxation exercise, the massage area. So like those few things to help make you, and start slow. So start slow, start with one finger, two finger as well. Before you actually try with the penis again, because your vagina might need to get used to it back again, because after delivery it could be a bit traumatized to the muscle. So just try to start small, start from small size before you go back to a penis size again. Yeah, so Mata also suggests ejaculation with hole also is an option, mutual masturbation, so masturbation witnessing. So yeah, this kind of activity also you can try with your partner, so doesn't have to just end with penetrative sex. So there's a private message, can orgasm help to relax? Yes, so when you are orgasm, you're actually quite aroused. So you actually, when you manage to orgasm, you're actually very high, and in the max, manage to orgasm, your muscle will be more relaxed. And it does help to relax the vagina as well. So you can try that method as well, to orgasm first to help relax it. Um, so yeah, Dr. Mata said one-way sex, all sex is sex. Mindset, a lot of things that are considered sex. So it doesn't just, so don't just stuck with the mindset that sex is penetrative sex. There's many other things about sex. Like if you Google it also, there's many other things about sex, like mindful sex. Um, yeah, masturbation is also sex. So as long as something that you can do together with your partner, is already considered sex. You are naked together with your partner, or maybe one person want to be naked, the other person just want to watch. It's also fine. As long as it's an activity that both of you enjoy, both of you like to arouse each other, then it's a good activity. It's already good to create intimacy. Okay, so can you explain why after sex care is important? Okay, so like what I mentioned just now. So after sex care, because one thing is like even with casual partner, like friends with feet, sex friend, those kind, right? Like if you don't have like after sex care, sometimes you will feel like they are just using you for sex. So some people might have this feeling like, am I just for their sex needs or those kind of thing? They will start having this negative thought. You will start having this negative thought as well. So that's why I usually recommend to at least do something after you have sex with, even though with your sex friend. Just maybe just watch some movie together after that. So at least it feels like that at least the person do care about you in certain way, just not think you as a sex object. So basically that's the main thing we want to avoid. We don't want to feel we are a sex object to someone. That is why like sex after sex care is actually important. So you can just think of any activity. If not showering together, usually you can just sit down, just chit chat, talk about something about your life, or what about work or something like that. That also it can be it's a type of sex care as well. Like doesn't have to be doing something extreme. Mm, okay.
Yeah, so yes, like what Dr. Mata said, it's also need agreement on what aftercare is requested. So basically, that's where communication is important. So even though with casual partner hook up, is you need to talk about it as well. And then there's a private question asked about, can outer course lead to pregnancy? So basically, pregnancy only can happen if the sperm is inside the vagina and is going toward, is swimming towards the egg, the uterus. So if there's if ejaculation happen outside your body, there's I think zero chances of you getting pregnancy unless you ejaculate near your vulva. If you ejaculate near the vulva, there is some chances that you might get pregnancy if the sperm is quite strong and can swim inside. So yeah, but if not, as long as outside like on your tummy, he ejaculate on the tummy, on your breast or somewhere else, yeah, it's fine. You won't have pregnancy. But if it's near your vagina, near the hole, or it's inside, yeah, that you will you might get pregnant. It depends on your hormone as well, your ovulation timing as well, and all those kind of factors as well you need to consider. Yeah, you can wear underwear as well. Yeah, you can wear underwear as barrier. And so anal sex also, it might not be a safe sex because like what Dr. Mata says, semen the vagina as well. True. Okay, so anyone else? So yeah, like Dr. Mata said, request for aftercare is self-care. So it's nice, it's good to request for aftercare. It's for yourself mainly. It's also for yourself to feel like, yeah, for your own self-care as well. So that's why it's important to have actually. Yeah, so like Dr. Mata said, you won't get pregnant giving oral sex because it's different area. Like you come in the mouth, it won't go into the vagina, so you can have that. Okay. So other question? We will wait few more to see whether there's any other question from the audience.
Does anyone else have
Yeah.
a
So
follow-up to Andrea's answer to your question, for example? Or do you have a reaction to what Andrea may have answered?
Is it okay for me to share?
yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the focus on penis in vagina for people who identify as heterosexuals. There is a fixation with penis in vagina as the adult way of having sex, or the mature way, or the right way to have sex. And I have been a sexologist for 11 years, working with a lot of heterosexual clients, and a lot of the focus is about reproduction. But beyond reproduction, a lot of couples actually keep doing the same thing in the same way. Uh, and it is actually more about habit. And if you keep doing things in the same way without thinking about why are we doing this, is what we are doing working, or is it still working? But most people don't do that. Most people just do what they do because you don't fix something until it's broken. So as long as it's okay, then it's okay. A lot of people just are okay with okay. They are not really thinking about enhancement, which is the reason why I really wanted Andrea to do this session, because I wanted a lot of heterosexuals or very vanilla clients, especially heterosexual couples, to begin to have some creative ideas around, is what we are doing working, and what else can we do, or are we just doing things in the same way just out of default habit. And a lot of it is linked to the fear of trying something new or the unknown, because doing something unknown may mean that it may not work. And if it doesn't work, it's almost as if you are a failure. So it is very scary to do new things. And when you're in a monogamous, long-term, heterosexual relationship, or even in just any long-term relationship, I think we do tend to take things for granted and do things in the same way. So in my experience working with clients who are heterosexual, a lot of sexuality is around the penis and penis owners being very penis centric, and if the penis works, we can have sex. If the penis doesn't work, we cannot have sex. If I have a problem with my penis, my erection, my ejaculation, if I have prostate cancer, my penis is not as strong as before because I'm getting older, then I cannot have sex. It's a death sentence if there's anything around the penis. So the reality is much better to start having ideas of sex is more than the penis when the penis is working, rather than when the penis is not working, when there are other issues relating to sexuality around difficulties around the penis, such as prostate cancer or certain illnesses that may cause difficulties with the erection. So this is, we can, okay, so as a sexologist, even though I said this again and again and again, and I can say this until, you know, the cows come home, until I have no saliva left. But I started to understand that my clients are not coming because they want to hear this. My clients are coming because they want to just do better around their penis. So until I teach them the skills of how to last longer with their premature ejaculation, or help them to overcome their anxieties around their erection, once they have the skills, the ability to really move beyond, okay, I don't have to worry about my ejaculation anymore because I have better confidence. I don't have to worry about my erection anymore because I have more skills. Then only when they are finally ready to hear, oh, actually, let's try something that's not the penis. Oh, so you can talk until you vomit blood, you know, and then your guts come out. But I feel that sometimes you need to get what you want until you are ready to go beyond what you think you need. And so I don't want this to be like a complaint session, but essentially, it's really about also meeting clients halfway at what they need, give them what they need, support them by giving them the skills, because I think a lot of non-penis owners don't understand the anxieties of penis owners around the inadequacy and the look of disappointment on their partners' faces, and the blame by their partners that, oh, you cannot stand, you cannot last long because you're selfish. And it's not true. A lot of times it's linked to the lack of sexual skills and sexual knowledge. And it's very sad because there's a lot of suffering in heterosexual relationships, because the penis owner doesn't understand what it feels like to be penetrated internally, having because they don't have a vagina, and vagina owners not understanding what it feels like to actually have a penis, and the body not listening to what the mind wants to do.
Martha, what an incredible sharing there. Maybe we can ask Andrea if you agree with those points, or there's some parts that you have a similar or different experience from your sexology practice.
Yeah, so I also agree with what Martha said. Like now maybe you can do penetrative sex, but what happens when you reach your older age? Like when you're having a lot of medical problems, like prostate cancer or other kind of medical reason, then you can't have penetrative sex already. Then you end up need to learn other ways to have activity, and by that time it's a bit too late already, or you might be too frustrated to learn anything new because your mindset is already just stuck to that. So that is why it's important we encourage couple to try other things rather than just this sex. So at least you are ready for the future if anything happen as well in the future. Have penetrative sex, at least you already have other skills to enhance your relationship during that time as well. So if you don't want to do it now, but at least you know what you can try to do for next time to enhance your sex life as well. And like for vagina owner also, they also have the feeling that penetrative sex is always important thing to do, because what Martha say, like penis owner every time think penetrative is important. So that's why for vagina owner people also that we have the stressful, the frustration feeling if they can't do that, if they can't let their partner insert inside them, they feel that they are not it, they feel like they are not a woman or things like that, that we have all this frustration and low self-esteem as well. So both sides also have actually issues that influence how they feel about their body, and it influences their relationship overall as well. So it's important both sides also need to be educated about their body, about how sex can be different than just penetrative sex. So not too mind focused on that, to so that you can enjoy sex and not be too not be too worried about not having penetrative. So sometimes like what Mata said, they just do it because like, oh, this is what people do this, and then they get pregnant and then they have babies. But other than that, after they have kids, they don't think of other ways to enjoy sex because they only know penetrate. It is important to venture out, to try new things. You can always start with small stuff, like just trying to orgasm using oral sex or doing oral sex or sex toy. Like doesn't have to straight away do penetrative sex during that session. Like just try and error, try whatever you like, and maybe in the future you can try that again next time. There's
So there's another question on the chat about, you can read it, about long distance, and somebody else has also written to me privately to say that they have the same question, and maybe we can make it a bit of a discussion so we hear a few more voices as well.
So, how to enhance and improve sex life in long distance relationship, especially now because couple are separated due to COVID. So yeah, that's a good question. So one thing we can do is video call, sexting. So sexting also can be a way, and video call, or if you have they have this kind of sex toy that you can actually use with couples that is long distance. So those are few of the things also you can try with each other's, or like mutual masturbation, like what Martha mentioned, but using the, so like mutual masturbation, but using video call, you can also do that as well. So a lot of it is using the internet, the media that the device that we have to help with your long distance relationship. And of course, you can still flirt. You can still flirt with each other. You can create erotic poem. So this one is I learned from the previous talk about erotica. So you can actually create some erotic poem or text to your, so it's something like sexting. So you can give that to your partner and let your partner have some imagination of how you want him to view you from a long distance, and or maybe you can send some sexy pictures, like those kind of things. So there's many other ways you can try to enhance your relationship, even though you are far. It doesn't give you an excuse to not have sex, but you might not be having physical sex, but you can have virtual like virtual feelings, like, so mutual masturbation. In the end, you can do mutual masturbation after you try to flirt with each other, sexting with each other, like, yeah. There's few things you can try. Like Mata said, remote sex toys. Yeah, that's the one that we have that actually is available in the market. So your partner can have the ad. And Mata is like showing like clone of pussy. Yeah, so you can do that. So silicone mold for your partner penis. Watch the erotica session yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was joining the last night session, and I feel it's quite useful for like long distance couple. So you can use to flirt with the mind, imagination, and it can help with your relationship long distance. And then at least when you meet together, so when you meet together, then you can at least have a bigger experience as well. Okay, so any other thing? So like Mata was showing some of the example of sex toy just.
What were some of your takeaways from the session yesterday that apply to this question?
Okay, so like in the previous session, she was saying, she was also mentioning about the five senses, but in more on like erotical way of thinking. So like so maybe like sight. So how would you describe your partner when you look at your partner? So maybe you can say, oh, I like the way you smile light up the room, so things like that. And then when maybe hugging, so how would you describe hug or kiss? So like maybe kiss on the cheek, you'll be like, you suddenly kiss me on the cheek, then you suddenly kiss me on the cheek and it make me blushes, it give me shiver body and tingling, like things like that. So that is what Kat as it was the presenter. So she was talking about how to use the five senses and apply it to be more erotic as well. So she also mentioned on like touch as well. So all of this is and food, like how to make food to be very sexy as well. Like chocolate fondue can be very hot like lava, and then the way you it's it's smooth like your body and things like that. So you can play around with words basically just to make it more it creates some imagination with your partner as well. So you guys can actually look at everything and maybe help give you some idea on how to improve or enhance your way of talking, of your way of flirting with your partner as well.
This has been such an incredible session. I would love to hear from the audience if anyone has any takeaways from this session. And you can either write in the chat, or if you want to raise your hand, I think there's a reaction. You can maybe give a thumbs up if you want us to call on you. We'd either love to hear your voice or love to hear in the chat box some takeaways that you have from this wonderful session today.
Okay, I will talk then. Thank you for the importance of aftercare, because I felt like I was asking for tenderness, and I felt like an alien, because I was saying to myself, "Oh, you're too sensitive, or you're too you need to find your own tenderness and self-care. You don't need the other one." But it's very, for me, it's a very interesting insight to have this insight about aftercare. I mean, with a sex friend, not with a husband, but yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for that.
Yes, so it is important. Even though with a sex friend, you can ask for like after sex as well, maybe after sex care as well. It doesn't have to be must be a long term partner only or committed partner. As long as it makes you feel like it's for your self care as well. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm a normal human that needs sex, but I also need some caring after. I don't feel objectified as a sex object. Those kind of things. It's for our own self care, especially. Yeah, so Fiona was saying, I wish I had a long-term partner to try all of this. It's okay, you can try with any casual partner, but of course, if you have more, if you'll be closer to them only, then you can start talking about sex better with them as well. If not, that yeah, they might be a bit awkward if you start too early to talk about all these things. Mm. So another comment is great to hear about the myth and also how important to talk about sex with our partner. So there is still a lot of taboo restriction on this topic, which can make it difficult to explore sex deeper. Yeah, so like Malaysia, they are very traditional, very close-minded, and very religious. So usually these few peoples are the one very hard for us to communicate to them about talking about sex, to encourage them to talk about sex is very hard. But slowly, hopefully, we can start with our partner. We can start by educate our partner, then only we can slowly educate other people around us on communicating about sex. So Mata said, I would say, well, there seems to be difference between what you think I need versus what I need and I need. Yeah. So Nofatini saying, now I'm open to any possibility of other type of sexual activity and not just focusing on penetrative sex. Yep, correct. So yeah, so me and Dr. Mata said a lot of the mindset here is every time people think that sex need to be penetrative sex only, but actually it can be everything else. Anything that you feel sexual about it. So that's the definition of sex. So sex, the definition of sex is not penetrative sex, and it deemed sexual. Yes, so Sandy was saying this is a really good platform for us to talk about sex. Yeah, so that's why I'm quite happy that Dr. Mata actually do this type of festival, this type of platform, because sex is very taboo in Asian culture. So it's like this is the only one of the few platform that we actually feel safe to talk about it, to get new knowledge without feeling judged, without feeling discriminated, those kind of things. So like if you talk this outside, this circle, I think maybe even our friend might judge, why are you talking about sex? Like, why are you talking about this kind of thing? Like, we will feel very scared to convey our thought about sex. So yeah, this is a good platform for us to challenge our thought, to educate ourselves.
And I'd like to echo what you said earlier, Andrea, about inviting our partners to come onto this platform, because sometimes they don't like listening to us saying it, but they'll listen to other people saying it. And that's such a valuable channel.
Yeah, like especially like for like from my experience, men usually need to hear it from another person, a third person view or like a professional view. Then only they will understand better why their partner say that this is happening, or like why their partner say this is important. Like usually they need someone else to actually tell them, not their partner. Then only they will listen better. Like they will open their mind a bit more to listen actually. So that's why inviting them, ask them to join this kind of talk will encourage them to actually talk more to your partner as well.
So we've got about 5 minutes left. I think we might take maybe one last question, perhaps from someone who hasn't spoken yet. If someone has a burning question that they've been shy to ask, you can see that everybody else is happily asking questions, and what a great session we have.
Yeah, so Dr. Mata was saying like we would be having sex all the time without touching our genital. So if we all expanded our definition of sex, yep, correct. And so basically we can have sex with our mind also. It's all in the imagination. Yeah, you can just you might be able to orgasm by just in your mind. And like Fiona was saying, it's a challenge to get partners to communicate, especially for aftercare. Most likely to fall asleep, clean up, or go to about their daily routine. Yep, just like even my own experience also, I also noticed a lot of them end up doing that. They just go to sleep, like especially after they are done. Yeah, they are done, then they just go to sleep. Like don't even think about you, whether you need anything else, whether you still want to have more sex. They'll be like, yep, I'm done. Then they just go and sleep. Yeah, it's like it's that, but for those that we can actually talk to, like then a bit more open to listen, so at least we can try to talk to them that I need something else besides just sex, like maybe just watch movie together with me, or just sit down and chit chat about our daily routine or something before I go back, like something like that, or before you leave. Like
Great.
that could be a start.
Great. I see Vu unmuting, and then Nerfatini, and then after that I'll close off.
Hi, yes, thank you, Andrea. This was so helpful, and just to normalize and to hear all the different options, and that everything is okay and on the table. I was curious though, as we have these festivals and these other gatherings, are there other, if we're uncomfortable, have friends and family or to really speak about these things with, like what other support systems or resources that we can be involved in more to learn more and be around more positive, affirming folks to support us in this exploration, in this journey.
So like I noticed that like in social media, like in Instagram, there actually a lot of sex educator from other countries that actually put a lot of useful information in their platform that they can that it actually encourage all this open up to all this sex talk and encourage people to learn more. So I usually will join their social media. So usually I will just type in like sex educator or sexologist or those few people, and then they will have like you can see some of their content. Their content can be very beautiful. It makes you feel like you want to explore yourself more. So I can't think of anyone out of my mind. I think got one is I think sex with Ashley or sex with Emily, something like that in her IG. Her IG name is that one, and her content is quite nice as well. Like she will talk about everything about sex also, like similar like what we are talking. So it's a good platform. People can comment there and talk about it openly. So like this few platform, and maybe like can Google some there's some but mostly overseas. So it's like I noticed like in overseas they have like a lot of other websites that also encourage talking about sex like some of the NGOs online as well. I can't think of any for now, but yeah, there's few that you can join in at website as well, yeah, or YouTube channel you can find. And yeah, Dr. Matali, you can follow her as well. A lot of information in her YouTube.
Nerfatini, do you have a last question? I see your little thumbs up there. Do you want to unmute and ask your question? I can't tell if you're there or not, but I asked for thumbs up if you wanted a question earlier.
Yeah.
And I see a thumbs up.
Maybe she went to toilet or something.
Yeah. Okay. So if not, then I'd like to close off the session today. Andrea, thank you so much for this incredible session. I think as you can tell by the audience, the number of questions coming in and the discussion that you've generated, obviously you've hit on a very important topic to many people. And especially in a more conservative society that you're in, you're obviously doing fantastic work providing this resource to everyone. Wanted to thank you for a most amazing session. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you everyone as well for participating.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you,
It's-
Yen Te,
Yes,
for your good job in moderating.
Good, right? So now I have to present the next session, which is, I believe, going to
Stop
be.
recording.
Huh?
I'll stop recording. Thank you.